So recently, the Ontario Supreme Court struck down the Ontario government's desire to remove bike lanes on Bloor University and Yonge Street in Toronto for cycling advocates. I think this is a pretty big win. I think for the entire city of Toronto, this is a pretty big win because, as the court pointed out, removing the bike lanes would not help vehicle traffic. This is from the CBC. And as mentioned, the Ontario Court ruled the province's plan to remove the bike lanes unconstitutional. That Cycle Toronto and others have established removal of the bike lanes will put people at increased risk of harm and death, which engages the right to life and security of the person. This is the Charter of Rights and Freedoms in Canada. So we don't have a constitution, we have a charter. And this was a charter challenge that these groups brought forward. Ruling is that the bike lanes will stay. Pretty happy to see that. As you can see behind me here, avid cyclist. They will appeal the decision. Of course they will. But I did want to point out there's I'll see comments online from people being like, oh, just get rid of the bike lanes already. Stop all this dilly-dallying. Bicycles aren't really the problem. No, one of the comments I saw was that cyclists should pay insurance and cyclists should pay a registration fee for their bicycle, which I guess for face value, fine. I guess that actually isn't the worst idea ever. But also it makes no sense because one, cyclists don't kill pedestrians or other cyclists, and two, cyclists don't tear up the road the way that cars do. We all know that the amount of money that cars pay to register their vehicle, which in Ontario is now $0 a year, does not pay for the roads anyway. So kind of a moot point in my opinion, and I don't think you should just apply the rules that we have for vehicles to motor vehicles to bicycles, because most bicycles do not weigh 2,000 plus pounds. These days, more like 4,000 or 5,000 plus pounds with EVs. If you're someone in Toronto who's also a pretty avid cyclist, there's this thing called the Great Cycle Challenge. I want to shout it out, even though probably nobody is going to watch this that might participate in it. But it's cool. It's to fight kids' cancer. Very worthy thing to do. In theory, I don't have to raise any money. Obviously, it's nice to do so in order to help a very good cause. And you get to ride your bike and have fun. I've technically participated in this for 5 years, although I do a really bad job of tracking how much I cycle in the month. The goal is somewhere around 400 kilometers this year for August. Maybe one day when this channel gets big enough, I can actually do some fundraising. That would be nice. That would be cool. I'd like to do that someday. I probably don't have videos of this that I can easily show, but picture this. So I was cycling through Toronto on a street where there is signs, and this is one of the reasons that people say, oh, we can't put in bike lanes in a certain area because during rush hour we want to open up 2 lanes, so where you can usually park during the day, there's a no parking from 4 to 6 p.m. so that people can either get out of the city or get into the city at a certain time of day, blah blah blah, because of the traffic. But inevitably, and I found this out when I was cycling down one of these streets where there's technically 2 lanes, but one of them always has parked cars in it, inevitably somebody will stop their car, prevent traffic from using the full road, and cause traffic jams in the city. It always happens. I've never been on a road during rush hour on my bike and not seen that somebody is parked in the designated please do not park zone during these hours. There's always someone parked there. You can give people as many tickets as they want. There's just no real incentive. So my argument is, what's the point? Just put in a bike lane, because you effectively can only use one lane anyway. The other lane should just be cycling and parking, and we should just leave it at that, because there's the expectation of there being more road space than there really is, which just causes more cars to go there, which causes more traffic, and things move slower altogether. There's also this thing in Toronto specifically, lots of I think cities where you have one lane of parked cars. Okay, this is perfect. This is exactly what I was trying to show. So I don't know what time of day this picture was taken. Probably 1 or 2 p.m. and in the summer, August 2024. Yeah, so it's probably like 2 p.m. This I can almost guarantee you has like a no parking 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday. Well, we can't tell what time it is exactly, or no stopping. Sorry, no stopping, no parking. You have a truck there. You have this guy unloading. You have this guy unloading. And my argument is this is probably going to be happening all day long. And what they do with these people who have their bicycles or scooters or whatever parked, you have to go in between the lanes of traffic here, right? Bathurst is kind of a bad example because they're about to make this a protected streetcar lane, so there'll be even less road space for everyone. But I still think this argument is worth making. For streets where maybe there isn't a streetcar lane, and let's just say these are 2 lanes of traffic, doesn't it make a lot of sense to just move the parked cars closer to this line? Then the other cars, they still have a full lane to use. You just build a bike lane here next to the sidewalk. Like, there's enough road space to do that. Like, parked cars don't take up a lot of space. And if you go up to Bloor Street, that's basically what they did. Like, that is basically what they did. Like here, for example, right? There was probably 2 lanes of traffic here. And look, they basically did exactly what I'm saying. And maybe there isn't enough space to have like parking on both sides of the street. But during rush hour, there's usually only parking on one side of the street anyway, if there's parking at all on these busy roads. So why not just make 2 bike lanes? You can remove one side parking on the street and you still have street parking here. Sure, technically it's like half as much parking, but you can still park your car. You can still come here in the winter. And it solves like a lot of problems. And there's even a whole like turning lane here, which on a lot of streets, like I don't even know, on Bloor Street, this probably wasn't a dedicated turning lane before. And it probably made turning here brutal, and it backed up traffic and people were flying like in and out of lanes and like all this stuff. So this just makes it so much safer for everyone using the road, including drivers. So I don't understand why like these road redesigns are just like are even contested. Like, it should be a no-brainer. It makes it better for people driving. These parked lanes where the cars park now, like this used to just be full of parked cars when that was its own lane. Even during rush hour, as the point that I was trying to make before, like people will park anywhere that there is not a barrier to parking, even if it's during rush hour and even if they risk getting a ticket. And then they'll cause more traffic. And that's the other thing too that I find funny is like when you paint new bike lanes like this, what ends up happening for the cyclists is like it sucks. You just get absolutely brutalized by the cars that have destroyed this road in the past. And you don't really do anything to like destroy the road, but now when you're trying to like ride your bike on it, you end up having to slow down or whatever. And it just sucks because like this person is probably about to hit like 5 different potholes in the road on their bike. And, you know, bumps are a lot more noticeable on a bike than in a car, but even driving in Toronto is gosh darn brutal. Once you install a proper separated bike lane that only bikes can go on, you won't have to replace it for an extremely long time because bicycles do not cause the same wear and tear on the road as cars do. And it's actually pretty cheap to put bike lanes in compared to resurfacing the entire road for cars, which will then just tear it up again in the future. So yeah, cars are really heavy and bicycles are not as heavy. So this is me advocating for bicycles. I'm sure a lot of people just don't really care. They've been living a certain way for as long as they can remember. And that's okay too. You know, I understand change is uncomfortable. Inconvenience sucks sometimes. You might want things to stay the way they are. Tons and tons of arguments on this topic. So